Waka 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 waka.
Again.
Yo, ladies and gentlemen, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Man, it feels like forever and ever. We have not been here with you all, but we are here now. We're about to have a great time. We're about to have a good time, man. So, buckle up your shoes, buckle up your belts, or whatever, and just get ready for the ride, man. We are here. That's right, the real gospel talk right here on Quake RYC Praise News, where music is therapy. We'll be right back.
Hey yo, what's up? This your boy DJ Jimmy Hustle, and you are now watching KWakeRadio.com live.
Salute everybody. Salute everybody. What's going on? It's your boy Go Ye, and you're watching KWakeRadio.com live. Salute.
All right, salute, 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 man. Yeah, I don't know how we want to start this off, man. Because really, I want y'all to go ahead and start it off because y'all have a whole lot more to tell than what I do. Because uh, y'all experience with with your move from North Carolina to Iowa is wow, is a story to be told, really. And there's still certain parts of it that are still not even finished yet. So so that's the part right there. It's like, wow, it's still not done yet. So yeah. But so if y'all want to, whoever wants to kick it off, well, I guess
You can kick it
Captain.
off. You want to do something?
Yeah, I asked to grab my phone. So I was going to read what I had sent you about the situation. So basically, we all kind of know where we left off with I walked off a job for that we discussed reasons earlier. And I was struggling to kind of find my feet again, find my way. And I was getting frustrated because it's like I was just sitting there at home. I didn't feel like I had much of a purpose. I was doing some things like I offered a budgeting class, like 2 sessions, and nobody showed, and things like that. And I wasn't discouraged by that necessarily. It's just I was just trying to figure out what my passion, what my purpose, what my next step was going to be. And I finally prayed one night and I said, I just need a redemptive assignment, an assignment where I can, real to realize whether I was the issue or if it's people behaving poorly or etc. I didn't want to end on that bad note, and switch careers. So Jason had fallen asleep and got up the next. I believe it's that day, next day or the day after. It was on a Sunday. I remember that because he says I had the weirdest dream. I had Iowa 2 and 6.
No, Iowa job 2 and 6.
Job 2 and 6. And
It gets weird.
so that Monday, first thing at 9 o'clock, I get a phone call that says there's a job in Iowa. Do you want to be put in for it? And I kind of chuckled a little bit, and I laughed, and I said sure. And well, I got that job, and I thought it was 26 weeks. Well, needless to say, we got packed up, we got moved. It was kind of a rough day. We got 2 hours out, and the bus just lost power. We wound up on the side of the road. And and the highway patrol doesn't usually go out that far, but they showed up, but the police didn't show up. Never showed up. Called them twice. The highway patrol came out, and he's like, you could take it to the Loves or to Chevy, a Chevrolet dealer.
You said Chevy dealer.
Chevy dealer. He mentioned Loves, but he didn't mention Love Chevy. So we wound up getting our bus towed. Well, longer story short, no one would come out to help me get out or get us safely somewhere. And I said, I bet you if I got out on the side of the highway, the 4-lane highway, 4 lanes each way, so I guess 8-lane highway.
Yeah. I-77 south.
Yeah, and if I got out there, I bet you anything they would show up. So anyway, tow trucks would come out and then just keep going because they didn't have the right equipment to tow a bus. And just nobody would respond. They called the ambulance, and ambulance could get me out the back of the bus, but I'd have to go to the hospital, be seen, be charged, to turn around and
Be released.
be just released, but I would not have a power chair. I'd be sitting on the ground outside.
What?
Yeah.
Because there was no medical
There's
issues.
no medical issues, and there was no way to get the power chair on the ambulance. So I was having a meltdown. Let's just put that mildly. Because we had a semi come about 6 inches from us
Several times.
several times. They were driving in the closest right lane to our bus, and he got over as far as he could, but we had no power. So took it as far over as he could while he had power. But we were angled a little bit, so they got real close to the back end where I was sitting, and it just was like, it just wasn't a good thing. So finally, a transport company that says they wouldn't come, the lady finally showed up because they realized we were on the side of the road and no one was going to help us. So they came in and so I wound up ditch driving down to a piece of plywood that we had in our bus, and then getting back up, and they helped push back up to the side of the road, which I kind of went around
the breakdown lane, and then went around the van into the oncoming traffic, essentially, to get to the back of the van where it had rear entry so she could get into the van, and then proceed from there. All while having this little one trying not to play in the street.
Yeah.
We got her into the van from the passenger side, but like I said, the EMT, the highway patrol is just the guy that comes out and checks. It's not police; it's just the guy that comes out and checks. He's like, he was able to get it running, but he had to keep starter fluid in it, type spray, whatever, to keep it running. He refused to continue to do that while I drove to get off the highway. Whatever. I mean, he could hold on on the engine. That's fine. 911's like they found us finally, but then EMTs come out, nothing. Tow trucks won't come out.
It was like, what, 4 hours later?
4.5 hours, we finally got it to the hotel.
Yeah.
And we finally got a tow truck company to get it towed to the hotel that was 1.2 miles away. But thankfully we were able to get the lift out into the ditch, and she was able to get out and get in there.
There's a story for that, because before it wouldn't run without battery power, without the engine running.
Yeah.
But the guy that fixed the lift, Jason complained a little bit about it because he charged us to put the old hand remote on.
But he didn't charge us anything.
We
didn't pay anything.
We didn't pay anything.
You put the hand remote for the lift. Like, we don't need that connected. Because I know there's a reason for it.
And that's because he connected it. That's why we were able to get our lift down, because he actually connected that one and didn't require the bus to be running.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So we were able to get out.
Otherwise, it would have been manual, but
yeah.
So it worked.
And then, so we got to the hotel, and we were outside, and one of the employees came out. I think he was done at this point in time. He come out to throw something out in the trash, and I said hi. He's like, hi. Went back inside, and he's sitting outside, and they towed our bus to the hotel. And he said, "Is that your bus?" And I said, "Yeah." He's like, "Oh, okay." And I thought, what's up with that? Well, come to find out, he was going through a really rough period in his own personal life. I have not got permission to discuss it, so I'm not going to. But God doesn't waste experiences, because the church that we went to before, was able to help him in his situation because they had very similar situations that they were walking through, and they could get him the help that he needed for his kids and stuff like that. Because I'm just going to say, he has autistic children, and the pastor and his wife and a lot of people in that church have autistic children as well. So then they're educators. They were able to help him get his kids on the right path to get the right help for their education when they start school in a year. So that's kind of where that goes. But he said that the next day when we were there, we were still there for like two nights.
We were there 2 nights.
And he said, he basically had said that, he goes, the reason I acted the way I did when your bus got delivered, he said, I literally had a dream of someone in a wheelchair and a bus.
Okay.
Huh.
And he said that basically God showed me that there would be a ministry coming through or whatever. And
It was just a vision that he had.
yeah, a vision that he had. So we finally were able to, the bus still isn't fixed. Still don't know what's wrong with it. Still in South Carolina. We had to get a rental van, which we just recently kind of purchased.
We had to go back to the whole Iowa job 2 and 6.
Yeah.
So.
Well, okay. So on the way home, I was getting frustrated.
Well, in the bus,
understand.
in the bus while we're waiting for help, we're sitting back there. I'm trying to call people, get stuff, and she's over there posting on Facebook. So I get how she feels because I get onto Facebook for stuff, but it was just we were frustrated, and then we got to the point where we realized Iowa. This was the next day we realized Iowa job 2 and 6. Do you have job 2 and 6 pulled up?
It's in there. If I can find it.
You just go to. But Iowa. But it ended up being Job 2 and 6. She's strolling through things.
Yeah, sorry.
You trying to rewrite the Bible, man?
No, I'm trying to get the description.
Iowa Job 2 and 6.
No, it's Job.
Everybody turn to that in your Bible.
I sent it to him. I can't find it. Okay.
He's gonna go to Job 2. Oh, you can read the whole thing?
Yeah.
Okay.
So this is what I wrote
Okay.
when I was frustrated on the trip out. Because we had finally saved up a bunch of money. Not a bunch. In worldly, it's not a bunch, but to us it was a bunch. And we had just gone through so much of it, and I'm just kind of frustrated and didn't know. I thought this was the right thing to do, and I wasn't sure. And, I started questioning and doubting and all that. So after the past 48 hours, my perspectives have changed. I have cried out to God many times, and I'm identifying a lot with Job from the Bible. I came into the Christianity feeling like Jonah, and 8 years later, I feel like Job. Let me give you a perspective. In 2022, I prayed to be God's hands and feet. I wound up in North Carolina in a job where people had a preconceived notion of who I was before they had met me and were hell-bent to break me to fit into a mold they had created for me. I was left isolated from the community like a leper. The next place I went, same area and health system, but different lab. I was tested with gossiping, not conforming to the world to fit in, but continuing to follow Jesus. Lastly, my faith was tested as I walked away from a salary I never thought I could achieve and trusting Jesus as my provider. I eventually followed Jesus and walked away from the employment. I had found myself in isolation of my own head, demonic attacks and depression, and anxiety over what the future holds. The dreams I had let me know that God is always there, but my reality seems so bleak. But is it? I got mad and gave God a piece of my mind, and my husband that night had a dream of Iowa. It wasn't that night, sorry. Prior to that, he had a dream of Iowa for a job 2 and 6. I don't know what this means. The very next day, I got a call for a job assignment in Iowa. I interviewed and got the job, so off we went on April 12th, 2023. We got out 2 hours, and the bus began losing power, and we coasted to the shoulder. We found ourselves barely off the lane of a 4-lane each side interstate with cars and semis speeding by us. Police never showed up after we called 911 twice. There was no one to rescue me off the bus, and I still have my wheelchair available. Highway Patrol doesn't usually go out that area, and he told us to take it to Love's or Chevy dealer. Important later. I tried to troubleshoot it and advised us, or they tried to troubleshoot it and advised us to tow it to Love's. We found someone on our own that could come, but he never showed up. We called 15 other places and wound up at Love's Chevy. Think about this in a parabolic moment. On April 14th, tears streaming down my face, I struggled understanding why we were going through this. God wanted us there. I just didn't understand. As I typed this, I realized it wasn't Iowa 26 weeks. It was go to Iowa, Job 2:6. All right, do with him. This is Job 2:6. All right, do with him as you please, the Lord said to Satan, but spare his life. I'm not sure why I'm so relieved about the bus breaking down now than before. I was so confused what was going on as I thought I was following God. What I struggled with is leaving our stuff behind. I seriously thought about just going back home, working and just living, going back, cursing God and spiritually dying after the 48 hours of hell we had been through. You say it's just stuff. What's the big deal? I cried as to leave my stuff as if I lost a person. I was so lost as I knew it was dysfunctional, but God showed me it was an unhealed portion of myself from the trauma of losing everything. It felt like I lost a part of me. I was shown today and several days prior about being minimalistic. Today on April 15th, I was told by God to write it out for clarity. So as I wrote it out, and as I stated above, Job 2:6, praying to be God's hands and feet is real. I talked to God this morning and asked him, why does this have to be so hard? Why are we going through all of this? His response was in respect to my dog Penny. She's being trained for service with public access. She's a good dog, but we have higher expectations for her behavior in public because she is in service. So I get a lot of glares when I reprimand her for what appears to be a minor disobedience on her part, because I have much higher expectations for her than being a good dog. A little bit farther after that was, I added to that a little bit later. It's like, are we willing to be just Christians, or are we willing to be in service for Jesus? That's the difference between a good dog and a
Service.
and a service dog and a good dog. Is, are we willing to be in service for Jesus? And he has much higher expectations for us if we're going to be in service for Jesus. Today I told Penny, I go, it would be a lot easier if you would just obey and learn this. The faster you learn it, the better off it'll be. And I said, oh, I know that so well.
What I learned about my faith walk from my dog. Coming soon to bookstore near you.
So,
That can be a good little pamphlet, good paperback.
yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be a book.
Yeah. It's one of those things that it's not an easy walk by any means. And the hits just kept coming. Between that, trying to buy the van, and just everything that was happening, stuff back at our house, and just tons of stuff that has been going on. It's like the hits just keep coming and keep coming. I prayed him, like, we saved up this money and blah, blah, blah. And he said, have you ever stopped to think that this is going on because I don't want to put it. The money was earned in a dysfunctional way, I guess you could say, because of the bullying and all that kind of stuff. Does that make sense? And I wasn't supposed to stay for a third extension. I was only supposed to go for the 2. And I stayed to follow money. So basically, he's saying that he's using that money by doing what we're doing and going what they're going through. He's kind of redeeming the money by it's being spent, but it's also going to come back to us. But it's got to go out first before it can come back to me, I guess is what I'm trying to say.
Right.
And I'm like, but because that was a false idol I was following, and then, but if he returns it to me, it's now blessed. Does that make sense? I think
Yeah,
I'm doing
yeah,
a little
I get-
bit
I
too
get-
much human interaction with that and things like that versus just, you know.
I think we all do a lot of times, and it's kind of funny because just what was about 3 or 4 days ago or something, I was sitting there thinking that I wasn't sitting there thinking, but it was, put into my mind, into my spirit that um if you basically would just follow what I'm trying to have you follow, it would be much easier. You
Mhm.
wouldn't have so many of those times of saying,
Mhm.
okay, why is this happening? Why am I going through this? Things of that nature. And a lot of times is not so much, and I get it now when a lot of people and a lot of pastors and a lot of folks would say it's not always the devil, but we love to try to put it off on the devil, but a lot of times it's our own fault, it's our own selves,
Mhm.
because we chose the certain direction, and then we get upset when that direction that we chose doesn't pan out. You know what I'm saying?
Or even if it's a path that he chose, like I prayed about the van. It's like, Lord, do we take on a loan? Because I don't want to do that.
Yeah.
It goes against everything. I just sat there and was just like squirming like crazy. I'm like, I don't want to do this. I want to do this. I want to do this. But we needed a reliable vehicle because all our vehicles are old and the bus is broken down so many times. It's just not reliable to take out on the road. So I'm like, we need a reliable vehicle. So I'm like, oh, I don't want to do this. And so anyway, God's response was, I gave you your van. We had a rental van. It's like, I gave you your van. That's your van. I said, okay. And he's like, I've got it. Just trust me, I've got it. It's okay.
Yeah.
So it's been a hassle.
Yeah.
Big hassle. And it's been challenging my patience. but I don't think it's the enemy at all. I think it is God fine-tuning my contentment in a storm.
Yeah.
Contentment and frustration. Accept these little, what appears sometimes as mountains is just the molehills they really are, and move forward. It's like these past, since April, or actually since the beginning of the year, it's felt like it's like, okay, I take 2 steps forward, I get shoved a
5.
block back.
Yeah.
I move 2 blocks forward, I get shoved half a block back. And it's just like, I just feel like I keep getting knocked down and I just get back up and go forward. I get knocked down, I get back up, I get forward. And I told him the other day, I told a coworker the other day, I said, one of these days I'm gonna start hitting back. Not hitting God, not hitting God,
Good luck with that.
but hitting the adversary.
By getting up,
Exactly.
and moving on, you are getting against the adversary. He's trying.
I know.
He's trying to knock you
But
down.
I'm gonna do more than just get up and move forward. I'm gonna hit back.
Might just
To
run
the
over.
adversary only, not to God, because God can strike me dead.
Yeah, God's gonna, show you what's what with that 1-2 punch. Man. But yeah, I mean, hearing about all the stuff that y'all went through and everything, I was just like, boy, what's gonna come up next?
Yeah.
What really is gonna come up next with everything? So that's why I was sitting there like, wow, God is really moving and doing some things. Excuse me, moving and doing some things, within y'all lives at that moment and at that time and everything. Not only between that, you moving from North Carolina to Iowa, But then also, Jason, you were running up on your assignment ending.
Yeah, and I had originally it's supposed to end. Was it the end of March? End of March, and then before we left, they're like, "Are you interested in staying longer?" Because basically it was going to end before we came to North Carolina or Iowa, so I didn't have to worry about transitioning into a new place. And like, oh, want me to go to? Okay, so so they asked me to stay an extra month, which allowed 2 weeks in Iowa here. So I had to go through and do that whole setup again with IT and everything, get internet set up right away. Thanks to technology, we were able to get it done before we got here.
Yeah.
But I have an apartment rented and all that. But I got an extra month out of my assignment, And then there's talk about it going longer through May and into June. That didn't pan out. So it just ended at the end of April, which is still a blessing of 4 extra weeks. 4 extra weeks of insurance. His health insurance went until her job started, basically. And then then she was working, and then her insurance picked up.
Yeah.
So we would never missed a beat for having health insurance. So that's not God. Because otherwise you would have been a month on Cobra or a month hiding out, trying to figure out, not going anywhere, afraid to move. But I'm kind of stuck on the Job 2 and 6. That's been in my head for the last month. But through that dream, it was loud. It was clear. It was those visions. Feel like, oh, God doesn't talk to you through dreams or whatnot. I've had a few more, and even more recently, and it's weird. It's like a lot of it's how we interpret it. I heard Job 2 and 6, forgetting that a lot of people mispronounce Job that way. And then when you read it, it's like, oh, no, spare their life. Because sitting on the side of the road of I-77 South in South Carolina, it wouldn't have taken much for us to be killed. And that's not what's the word I'm looking for? Over dramatic or exaggerating. Our back bumper on that bus was right at the white line, but I was able. I'm like, we're only losing power, and I still had some power, so I started to move over to the right, off to the breakdown lane. Thankfully, they had one, and I got off just enough where we could be off the shoulder. Now, if we were blocking traffic, they would have had a police car there. They would have got us moved so much quicker. So it was a blessing and a curse that I got off the highway, it was a blessing because we were out of the way, but it was a curse because they don't want to do anything about it.
Right.
But I got to start working on the process of creating a law for some kind of procedure that happens when something like this occurs in a city or a state or wherever, for somebody that has a disability. Like, well, what we can do? Sorry, police don't show up. Nobody shows up to do anything. Something has to be implemented.
Nobody would tow us because you can't be in the vehicle while it's being towed.
Yeah, because that's technically illegal. But
it's kind of crazy that they didn't have anything implemented for this situation.
Yeah.
And it's even crazier that, and I don't know, I guess this is a question for y'all. Has anybody even reached out to you all to talk about your experience on what happened as far as that aspect of it?
No.
Because that's something that should be talked about and worked out, because, okay, what if that happens to somebody else and then they have to go through the exact same thing?
Yeah. And I want to say, as pastors or people say, I told you that to tell you this. And the background of getting to Iowa here, I think it was my second day here. I ran into some new folks that I was talking to that I thought they were moving out of our apartment complex. They were actually moving in, and come to find out they're both pastors, husband and wife team, and they run. He's working at one of the churches. They're literally a block away. United Church of Christ, yes, and his is on 6th Street, hers is on 5th Street. I mean, and we're on 4th. So, I mean, it's literally a block away. But I run into, after day 2 of being here, day 3 of being here, run into 2 pastors. And then the key is he's got a lot of background in working with nonprofits. He was actually in a lot of political stuff, doing work with them. He was on the Bush administration doing things. He knows all about the ins and outs of like grant writing, law stuff. So he's actually someone we haven't talked to him about it yet. And if he listens to this show, he'll find out first. I doubt it because he's busy. But figuring out how to talk to him about how to implement something like that into law, who to contact, and what that process is. He knows the process. He's been there. He said I think in New York. I think it was New York. He did it. I apologize if it's wrong, but he assisted in creating a law where basically the age limit or minimum age for someone to be charged as an adult as a felony. And I think I think it was New York, but I could be wrong on the state. But it used to be 13. He moved it to he got helped get it moved to 17 and a half. So he goes, there's no reason why a 13-year-old should be being charged as a felon and put into the state prison at 13. He goes, there's other stuff that goes on. So, but he knows how to do the laws and get that kind of stuff going. And that's what we need to do is get that law started. Usually somebody has to die in order for that to occur. There's like in Iowa, there's what they call a Scots law. I think it's actually more nationwide now. But that's basically for pulling over for police officers. It's like if there's a cop car on the side of the road or an emergency vehicle on the side of the highway,
You have to move
over a lane. That's kind of standard now, but that's Scots law, which came out of Iowa. But that's because an officer was killed, so they had to create that. So they created that law based on that. Why does somebody have to die?
Yeah, because the officers used to get clipped when they're pulling people over because folks weren't moving over.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
So it started off as a law because somebody was killed. Like I said, with this, we easily could have been killed in that transaction. 4.5 hours of sitting out there, and things we got.
It was getting to be dark,
and it just started to get dark. All I have are hazards flashing. I mean, and then thankfully we got out, and the bus. They got the company that took care of it that doesn't want to be named. They still don't remember the name anyways.
yeah.
But when the girl worked till 8 o'clock, and she picked us up at 7:45.
Yeah.
7:40. So, but she helped us get in the van, get us to the hotel and everything. And we were also able to minister to her as well. She's a single mom with a daughter who's got a heart condition, heart transplant. So we were able to minister to folks. So it was like God's like, I need you here for this. I need you here for that. We're gonna go through some stuff to get you through that. Ooh, are you ready to be? You're gonna be. I'm gonna use you, but I got you. Spare their life. Like Job 2 and 6. So, yeah.
I think all the little stuff that I've been going through, or we've been going through lately, is just my lack of contentment and getting frustrated with stuff. Like the light being stuck on for 24/7.
Yeah.
In the bathroom.
Literally 24/7. That was over a week. Trust the process.
Yeah.
We heard that.
And the ice maker on the fridge not working. Ooh, it's an ice maker. There's just been so many little things that the multiple papers being told that it's not their job to tell us when they send us paperwork to sign. Like it kind of is. You're the finance department.
The van's been a struggle for the last 2 weeks, 3 weeks now. 3 weeks it's now. Going up on 4. That's been a struggle to get it situated. But it's getting smoother and smoother.
Yeah, just getting upset about the little stuff that doesn't even matter. It's like find the contentment, find the peace. Take a deep breath, find the peace, understand where it's coming from. Yesterday, I had a pivotal moment of just saying, okay, we need to trust the process. Like our mortgage payment didn't come out, and we got charged a late fee. It should have come out. It was scheduled, and and things like that. But I called them up and ready to do battle. This is a fun story.
I'm gonna tell them.
Ready to do battle and ready to fight. I had all my armor on and all that. And then I said, can we just remove the charges? We've had the loan for 5 years and we've never been late before. And I said, can we remove the late fee? She's like, sure, we can do that. And I'm like, wait, what? Thanks.
I was ready to fight this one.
And it's like, God kind of showed me, it's like you don't need to go to battle with everybody. Sometimes the battle isn't the person; it's a situation.
It's battle inside your head.
It's sometimes God uses people to refine our edges, our sharp edges and stuff like that, and things like that or rough edges, I should say, and things like that. Sometimes it's not the people; it's God using the people to refine us even further. Not just Pastor we were down talking, and I said, I pray to be God's hands and feet, and he sat there for a little bit. He's like, yeah, and he's like, yep, you probably kind of took a little bit. He goes, you're in the fire, and I said, absolutely.
I got you. I know what you're talking about.
And I kind of wanted to ask him. I haven't asked him yet if the laughing was meant because he's been there, or he just knows he's smart enough not to pray that.
Yeah. You don't pray for patience. Just step outside, go get a coffee. My phone's ringing. I'll be right back. Don't pray for that because he will make it happen.
Because Joyce Meyer said on a thing I listened to probably a few months ago already, says, if you have prayed for God to use you as his hands and feet, honey, let me counsel you. She goes, you're going to need it. And I said, oh, yeah, I've been there, done that.
Yeah. But,
so the contentment is just, like yesterday, I was frustrated with everything because he drove all the way to Galesburg, took time out, put miles on the van, spent money for gas.
But the blessing there was E85, which was $2.54 a gallon.
Yeah.
I like that part.
But and stuff like that.
Versus 3.5.
And they didn't even send us the right paperwork.
Yeah, we're missing.
Well, the biggest thing with the van is it was from a dealer and they didn't register it and pay the taxes for it. So all of a sudden we found out we have to come up with $3,000 out of our pocket to cover that because they didn't do it. And I'm like, what? Send us the tags when you get your van registered is how we found out. I'm like, what? It was supposed to be registered when we bought it. What?
Yeah, then I go to the DMV and she's all suspicious because the plates, the registration is out of Ohio.
Because it's a rental.
Because it's a rental with that company, and that's where their headquarters are. We bought it in South Carolina, and I'm trying to register it in the state of Illinois. That seems kind of weird. And she's like, the dealerships usually take care of that stuff. I'm like, well, they didn't. So now we have to. She looked at me like, yeah, there's a lot of red flags there.
Okay.
So
we contacted the Illinois company. Same. It's a company that's all over the United States.
I think they're in like 10 states.
The Illinois, we contacted the Illinois division to see if they could contact the company and get that taken care of, But
they contacted us. Yeah, we could take. All they do is call us, and we would have been able to take care of that for them and be done.
Yeah. So
why do we have to go all through? Yeah, it's one of those things. It's stuff that doesn't normally happen. Is occurring because he's like, are you trusting the process? You're trusting the process. But
part of it is do we trust him? But also part of it is the devil would love to have us give away a blessing, one of God's blessings.
Yeah. This van is oddly a blessing. Even look at the price that we're paying. which we don't want to have to do. But when we're traveling, that contentment and rethinking how we travel. So you got the bus not for travel purpose, but that's how we use it. We put stuff in it, and we use it as storage. And when we drive places, we have everything. Well, now we're taking the approach. Let's take the safe vehicle, put the few things that we can in there, and then we'll put up a U-box or a pod or whatever, and ship it to wherever we're at.
Well, keep in mind when I was praying, he was, I got this bus for you to travel in. He goes, not take all your mess with you.
Yeah, because we had quite a full bus full of stuff.
It was because of our past situations, and I don't know if you've noticed this in your life, Orlando, or not, but when people go through traumas, a lot of times they are collectors of stuff. Because human beings are. But I know that people that have actively going through trauma or dealing with trauma, they tend to accumulate a little more than a normal person does. I do not know why. I have no idea why. It provides comfort for some reason. So he told us back in North Carolina to become minimalistic.
And boy, have we.
And so when I got here, it was so weird. The first week, I was anxious a lot because I'm like, we don't have anything. I have five outfits, because I only packed 5 sets of clothes for the trip, and the rest was on the bus. So I had 5 outfits, which is enough for a work week. I had 5 outfits. We had no bed. We had no recliner.
For sleeping.
Nothing to sit on. He went out the first day. We stayed at a hotel. The first day that I worked, he went and got a recliner.
The hotel. It was one of the cheaper hotels in the area, and just down the street from the hospital. I went, we went, and it's one of those appreciate where you're at things. Just went to the hotel, and it just stunk of pee.
Like a movie.
Yeah. So I didn't know if the whole hotel, if that was a normal thing for that hotel or not. But I'm like, you know what? We're gonna sleep here. We're gonna deal with it. We gotta get her to work tomorrow. We'll figure it out. So when I checked, because we couldn't get I couldn't get the chair here until Monday, right? So I wasn't able. So we were able to get to the apartment on Sunday. Just couldn't have anywhere to sleep until Monday. So I'm like, so when I checked out, I go, just the room just smells of pee. I go, is that like all the rooms, or is it just that? She goes, that's not normal. Well, because we just recently had an older couple in there, and they probably had basically she had said that bladder issues. Like, she goes, I should let housekeeping know. Because you should let us know the night before. I'm like, after what we just went through, I was glad there was a roof over my head. We were in Burlington, Iowa. I was happy for that. I was there. We were 4 blocks to the hospital from there? 5 blocks? But if the worst happens, we will walk there. We are here. So, but then it's minimalistic. And like, we have a 2-bedroom apartment, which that's another story. But I had something on an air mattress for a week? Almost 2 weeks.
I did get up in the middle of the night and reinflate it.
Yeah, to reinflate it. I don't know if I broke the weight barrier limit on it. I don't know. Because I'd wake up in the late. I woke up in the valley.
I had to roll out of the bed.
Yeah.
Literally to the floor.
Yeah. But we had her recliner so she can sleep in that. And then we finally got a bed that we rented for 2 weeks, 3 weeks? Yeah. 2 weeks. I guess
we bought a mattress because we need one back at the house.
Yeah, so we bought a mattress for relatively inexpensive. And then the frame for that. So we have a bed, we have her lift chairs, and then we took everything in me to buy another chair. So I got you can't see it. No, it's back that way. Let's see it. It's from the resale shop that's 2 blocks away. $10 for it's a recliner ish. $10.
A file cabinet for my.
We're using a file cabinet for her dresser.
For a dresser.
One of the drawers is a dresser for the other.
It was $10 for $5 for a 4-drawer cabinet.
Hey, there's nothing wrong with that.
And then we bought a lamp.
Actually, as soon as y'all said something, I'm like, that's not a bad idea.
No, it's not. I mean, it's
At
a small
all.
one too. It's a Ford. No,
It's almost as tall as he is.
yeah. So we bought the chair. The
'Cause you
file
can get a
cabinet.
nice little you can get a nice little like tablecloth or something and put over top of it in the room or wherever it is, and people wouldn't know what it was until you have to go in it or whatever.
Oh yeah, you can tell it's a file cabinet from where it's at, the way it's at. I'm not worried. But so we got that, the file cabinet, the chair, and a lamp. It was a really weird looking lampshade, but that was for $23. $23. We got a chair, a dresser, file cabinet, and a lamp. $23. Used. But then I didn't have anywhere to sit. Besides that, and now, was it Friday? No.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't yesterday.
No, Thursday.
Thursday. A few days ago, we made a trek over there, and they had bar stools. Oh, it's Tuesday. So I was there Monday. They didn't have them. Went Tuesday and got it, and they had bar stools. $15. They had just got them in that day. $15 for a bar stool. That's what I'm using right now to sit. I'm like, oh, now I have a desk, because before I was using the top of the box from the recliner that we had as our desk / entertainment center.
It's not our entertainment center.
But because we were blessed with a free TV from one of our friends. Everyone gets a TV. You got a free TV. We're like Oprah. Everybody gets TVs.
And the crazy thing is, I don't even look at my TV.
Well, we use it as a second monitor, I guess, essentially. But no, we got that. So we have that running across over there. But we're trying to be as minimalistic as possible. Like I said, just 2 chairs to sit on. A bed. The bed, was going to bring that home and replace that mattress. But we had so much stuff. I'm like, wow, we don't need all this.
And the pastor said he went there and the stuff's really cheap, so they got stuff for their apartment. He goes, and when we go home, when we leave, we just redonate it.
You just sell it or bring it back, whatever.
Yeah, true.
It's like, so I mean, it's not, or give it to someone that could use it,
Yeah. Yeah. So we this next starting first week of June. We're gonna be going back and clearing stuff out of the house, and there's gonna be a lot of stuff gone.
75% of our stuff.
We're gonna have an empty house. So by the time you make it there in August, hopefully you'll be able to see the rooms and not the stuff.
Well, there's just so much stuff. I mean, we just started
Hoarding.
filling our house. No.
Oh, I was becoming a hoarder.
Our first house we had was hoarding. You looked around and there's boxes up the wall. And
The
you
closet.
couldn't get in the 20 by 18 closet.
Oh, it was 20 by 18.
I don't know.
It was
20
5. It was 5 by 20.
5 by 8.
It was longer.
It's 20 long and 8
Fun.
wide.
Yeah, it was huge. A huge closet. And you couldn't get into it because there was so much stuff. But I had posted it last week, early in the week, whatever. Sometimes I watch, sermons to get encouraged. Sometimes I watch the Hoarder Show. Because I could, what's the word? Relate to them. I get it. When we were homeless and all we had was a dresser, a nightstand, and
A
bed, we had next to nothing. Now we want to hold on to everything. Like now I got to take
might
the
need it.
Yeah, I might need it in 3 years. Well, in 3 years we'll get it if we need it. So I'm trying to be less hoardy on things. Working on it.
But it's one of those things that
We went off way topic.
but
Welcome back.
Yeah.
Welcome back to Rabbit Holes by the Katzes.
Yeah, that's what I talked to.
Some conversations. I might change the name to Rabbit Holes by the. Sorry.
So, but and the story's still unfolding. I'm sure that it'll make sense when it's all said and done. But it's a little rough going through it. Every day there seems to be a hit.
Yeah.
Almost every day. Today was pretty good. There wasn't a hit today.
Just people.
But yeah.
I was in people in hell today.
today was today I said that I say that to me. Everywhere we park, somebody parked behind us of our rear entry van. So we had to move so I could get into the van.
Parking the far outside of the lot.
Who parks
Nobody.
at the end of the lot? Who parks at the end of the lot?
There's empty spots everywhere. And I'm like, you really parked behind us? There's 8 spots over there that are wide open. You had to park right behind. I'm like, I see what you're doing. Whatever. Move forward. Yeah.
So it was fine. I just still, yep. Not surprised. Not surprised.
But we've gotten even better with like budget wise of like groceries. Instead of buying so much stuff. Now we were $30 on their budget this week. We'll use it next week or a couple weeks, but we bought hamburger one week and chicken, or we bought them both last week.
Yeah.
But we have extra stuff to cook. So we're getting more focused in how we're going to be better stewards of what he provides. And hoarding or holding on to lots of things is not a good way of doing it.
Because when we get our bus back, there's lots of carrots and celery on that bus today.
Oh, that's gonna stay.
The
bus is gonna smell bad. Bus is gonna smell bad. We'll ask you how it'll be here in the first week of June. It'll be in a couple weeks. Hopefully I'll have it cleaned out by the time you get here.
Oh, that's so funny.
Well, we hired in professionals. We flew them in from Virginia to get this done.
Oh wow.
No, he's not cleaning out our bus.
No.
Wow.
But if you want to, like you said, if you want to sleep in it, you're welcome to.
I don't do buses.
I'll put a twin mattress in there.
No.
Wow.
And air.
Yeah, we'll have a room for you. Or there'll be a room at the end.
There'll be plenty of room for you because we're gonna get rid of 75% of our stuff.
Hopefully, I get to stay.
Yeah. That's open for
Wow.
So
you heard it here first. No, just kidding.
But next week we'll talk about what you've been through. Unless you want to go.
That's up for debate.
Yeah.
If she's gonna keep you or not.
Yeah.
I'm gonna keep him.
I'm a keeper.
He's the keeper.
22 years later.
All right. You doing something right, buddy?
I'm not sure what. I'm gonna keep doing it. But
Exactly. Man. Y'all had quite an experience.
yeah, I mean, it was definitely eye opening to what he can do. And like I said, veil protection of things and everything. How like sitting out there on the side of the road and how dangerous that is. Kind of thing, and who he ran into and how things that people we meet in that process. I'm like, there's a reason why we're meeting people. And this is what we're supposed to. We went to North Carolina to meet certain people. We went to North Carolina to come back to get the van and to get Penny. I mean, Penny's a blessing. She's annoying right now. There it goes.
I still say that.
But you did it though. You started it.
Yeah. I still say that. So I can't. I'm not gonna swear by this by any means. But my thought process is that as soon as this van becomes ours, 100% registered, all that, they're gonna go out. They're gonna turn the bus and it's gonna start right up.
You heard it here first.
You gonna say you're gonna turn the bus into what?
That's gonna start.
It's gonna start right up without issue. And I think what it is, and we also, for the record, we got a recall notice for a bus that said that the wiring in the back HVAC system will tend to get hot and whatever and could catch fire.
Ooh.
So that first day they said it seems like it could be electrical. So that might actually be what it is as well, which would be covered for free with the recall.
Yeah.
So everybody pray.
Amen. Before we go,
Good.
well, I was going to say before we go off, we got to give congratulations to our partner and our buddy Amanda Haley. She went to a TKD tournament. She does taekwondo and everything, so we don't have to have any security. All we have to do is get Amanda out there, and she'll kick some butt. She posted on Facebook, had a fun day at a TKD tournament. Second place in forms, and 4th place in weapons. So
Ooh.
congratulations, Amanda, for that.
Wow.
Man, we just want to show some love. And also, man, May is winding down, but I do have to share and say happy birthday to all the May babies out
Be
there.
the best.
I'm a May baby. My brother, Captain J is a May baby. My best friend and business partner, Robin Kelly, is a May baby. Our buddy that we worked with at the Y, who actually is co-owner of Hot Mix VA that we do a show for every Sunday. So make sure y'all check that out tomorrow. Giles Scott, he's a May baby. And so there's a lot of May babies out here. Don't feel left out, Judy. But there's a lot of there's a lot of May babies out here. So all the May babies rock on, rock on.
Yeah,
So-
our nephew shares a birthday with you.
Oh, okay.
Max is May 12th.
There you go.
I have another
Yeah.
friend that's I've known since since high school. She's hers is third. I apologize, Colleen. I can't remember what it is. I know it's a day or two before mine.
Yeah, and Reborn, Devin Reborn Favors. He shares a baby, Lord. He shares a birthday with me May 12th as well. He's a CHH artist, and I actually interviewed him on our birthday 4 years ago or something. So that was kind of cool.
Yeah.
Both of us had the same birthday and everything. So yeah, man, all the May babies out there, y'all just keep your head up. Keep your head up. We're about to rule this. I mean, yeah, we're gonna
We're about to take over.
we're gonna band together and love one another. I can't tell y'all the May baby credo that we're gonna take over the world.
Like Pinky and the Brain.
Yeah, exactly, man. But yeah, go ahead, Judy.
Yeah.
Do I have the echo on? Yes, I do.
Echo.
So I thought I kept hearing something bouncing back, but yeah,
It's because the Florida Gators thing isn't there.
Echo, and that's why I was sounding low then. That's why I was sounding kind of soft and low, is because of the echo effect that was on.
Gotcha.
But okay, Judy, go ahead.
Oh, no, I was just going to say it's, the story's still unfolding of what his plans are and what's going to follow. I know we're supposed to be here, and I know he doesn't forsake us. So I'm kind of hope I get my lesson sooner than later, because I don't like going around the wilderness multiple times a day.
I can't find my baby. I don't know when. I don't know why. Oh, go ahead.
I know the song. I don't know who sings it, but I know the song.
I saw you over there lip syncing. Move your lips.
Oh, that's good. You didn't hear me then. Quiet up, you're not here. Turn up the volume right here.
Man.
You'll break your ear.
I haven't heard that song in so long.
I don't know why.
Man.
But
But this is awesome. Able to come on back, do a show again and everything. I can't wait to jump on the radio station and do a show. Well, Monday could be my first day back to come back and do my first therapy session show since I wasn't able to do one a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, I might do a therapy session show Monday night. So that's on the radio station. And I may do one tomorrow too. I don't know. All depends on how wound up I am after coming home from church from singing tomorrow. So
you be singing, we be watching, we'll be watching.
yes, I'll be singing tomorrow. Oh. We got a couple of good songs, man. Some songs that I'm pretty sure that you all know and that you all have heard of, because a lot of them I didn't know until I went to the church and I was like, okay, and who's this? But one song we're doing is by Casting Crowns.
Oh.
I'm trying to look up the email. Yeah, one song is I think it's until the whole world hears.
To the whole world, yeah.
I think that's Casting Crowns. Yeah.
It is.
Yeah. So we're doing that, and then we're doing a song. We're actually doing a song that David Lampman, that
Uh-huh.
he's singing tomorrow at his church as well, and we're singing the song at our church tomorrow. Is I Speak Jesus.
Ooh,
Oh,
Yeah,
Crystal, Chris, Charity Gale.
yeah. We're singing that song tomorrow too, and he's
Oh, I
singing
love
it
that
because
song.
he sang it on Facebook. He went live and was singing a little bit of it. I was like, oh, that's kind of funny. We're singing that song too tomorrow.
you guys got some good songs that you
So
sing.
look at that. Jesus gonna be lifted up, boy.
Woo!
Lifted up. And then we're singing let me see, Graves into Gardens.
Ooh,
Ooh,
I love that
that's
song.
We're
celebration.
sing, we're singing Goodness of God and Is He Worthy?
Oh wow,
So yeah.
I'm gonna have to start watching your church for
Yeah,
like
man.
for the
Yeah, man.
music.
Yeah, man. No, don't be doing that, man.
No.
You gotta watch Pastor Jim. And watch our Pastor Jim. Oh, that's what I wanted to talk to y'all about, but we could talk about that after we log off. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, this is RYC Praise News, where music is therapy. We love y'all. Thank y'all very much for watching and listening in to our, to our silliness, but not only our silliness, but also our testimonies of God's grace within our lives. Tonight, we were listening to God's grace within the Katz's life, from going from North Carolina to Iowa to, I mean, all that they went through, man, is just something amazing. That and see, one thing too that I have to point out, and one thing also that I have to give my brother and my sister kudos for, is something that they may not even caught or seen themselves. Your relationship and your marriage has really, must be really strong, because even if y'all did maybe have a little tiff or something like that or whatever, most marriages or people would have been arguing, fussing and fighting and everything else, going through what y'all went through, and not on here doing no video show tonight. Even now, they still would have probably been upset with each other, because somebody would have said something that they shouldn't have said. That they
Oh,
shouldn't
you
have
can't see the
said,
jabs I've been getting all night. I have a
you
bruise.
know.
Just kidding.
Oh, yeah.
But just give y'all, y'all flowers, man, for real, that hey, to make it from there to here, and all that y'all went through, and y'all are still, lovey-dovey, and working together and doing what y'all got to do, man. I mean, and that's just a testament of God's love and God's will, and God's grace for y'all. So it's not just the vehicle and the apartment and the things that y'all went through, but it's also keeping your heads at a even keel, to be able to know not to go at each other, because that'll be the easiest thing to do, is to
Yeah.
go at each other at the time, especially
And
once
that's,
you get frustrated.
and that's part of the contentment that you need to have, because if you allow those things, because we've had some experiences where I come home from work, I start my day off bad, and I let it get to me throughout the day, and then it's like it comes home with me.
Mhm.
It follows me home, and it frustrates him. So then he comes back at me, of course. Then I get mad, and I'm like,
But like
talk to the hand.
well,
Trying to-
yeah. I mean, I don't say we put on a good show. It's not really that aspect.
it's not.
It's not. It hasn't always been. I mean, there's spats, but that happens. So you just get. It's just. It's life.
But it's like
You know.
you learn to to pick your battles. You learn to fight when you gotta fight. But I don't know. It just they never last very long. We don't stay mad at one another. It's just we get over it. I think the longest I stayed mad at you was the other day, and that was for like 45 minutes.
Was I there? Or did I
I
do
took the dog for a walk. That helped.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I left. Sometimes just alone time works. Just get out, leave. Not in that perspective, but it's just. Like I said, with divorce rate currently, everyone just they want this perfection, and it's just not that.
There's no marriage that's
Yeah,
perfect.
I mean,
Oh,
I said,
Yeah, there's no marriage. Yeah. We kind of sort of. I mean, that is 100% true without a doubt. That's 100% true without a doubt. But there are people dealing with things that they just should not be dealing with.
yeah, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, there are some marriages that aren't perfect, but you know, you don't have to deal and settle with things either. You don't have to settle with disrespect. You don't have to settle with, you know, people, you know, making you less than what you are. So just, you know, just putting that out there for folks and
Well, yeah,
everything too.
don't let yourself become in harm's way. You know.
But it's a constant. I don't say job is the right word, but it's work. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
things change. You know, if you told me 22 years ago that we'd be here in Iowa doing this kind of stuff, just in general, and how I would have laughed at you. You know, because we were young and naive-ish, young. Use that term loosely.
Yeah.
But you know, what I mean, you have your idea of what marriage should be, and then when you go through it, it's a whole different ballgame, and then how you handle it. And I said, there was, I said, it is what it. I mean, I say it is what it is. It's how it happens. But like I said, if people are doing things that are bad, abuse or cheating or whatever, you don't stay in it. Well, I'm married. I have to stay. You can. There's times, but if you're like, I'm just bored, or I want something. I want the newer model. As a friend explained it that. I had a friend say that. He goes, I just want the newer model. I'm like,
I'm telling you, better watch out for those newer models, boy.
I go, they're just shiny. That's all they are.
Yeah, they'll have recalls every time you come around.
Yeah. It's like you want the newer models.
The newer models, I'm telling you.
I go, but you don't know.
And they still lose their depreciation as soon as you drive it off the lot. So
appreciation, yes, that's right, appreciation. But I go, but the key is if you have a car, I say older, wrong term, but a vehicle that you've had for a while, you know how it works. You know how it works. Like I had old Caprice. If I hit between 30 and 35, it would sputter. So I didn't drive at that speed. You know, you know how certain situations work. You know so why would you want to have to relearn something? Seems like a lot of work.
I think you need to stop, bro. Yeah. I think we need to go ahead and end it for a minute.
I'm gonna dig a hole. I'm gonna keep going.
Yeah, that's all I can say. I think it'll be about time for you to walk Penny again.
Oh, she's done the same thing. She doesn't want to have to relearn.
I'm messing with you, man.
Or train somebody. I'm well trained.
Talking about that and associating it with vehicles almost reminded me of the R. Kelly song.
I'll bring R. Kelly.
You like my Jeep.
He's just weird.
But anyway, man, that's a good time to end it there. Once R. Kelly gets mentioned, it's time to end the show.
The show's over. We can't go any worse than that.
So yeah, man, we love y'all. We appreciate y'all. Thank y'all very much for tuning in and listening in. Definitely we'll be back next Saturday, God's will. And I guess it'll be my turn to, talk about my monthly goings ons and I'll drop it with this little cliffhanger. How did Orlando end up getting $2,000 up within a couple of weeks? Yeah, it wasn't Orlando. It was all God. So we'll leave it with that. All right. And we'll see y'all next week.
Yep.